What's up, guys? Team Blind MST here. With John has received the curse, and he
The
wants to show you
herpes
it.
of Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright guys, so I'd like to give a little disclaimer. I've had this deck for roughly 48 hours. Unfortunately, a real asshole of a friend convinced me to trade him for it, and this is just one of those things that you can't resist, and you end up acquiring it, you can never get rid of it.
I have it too, actually, but I choose not to admit it. I
There's
hide it.
so many of us have it. No one's ever made it good, so I decided to take the challenge, and I don't think it's possible. Still topped yesterday. I almost went undefeated. Got my credit. That was nice, but there's some glaring holes in this deck. But all right, so let's just get started. It's Noble Knights. So obviously 3 Medrauts. There's not much that needs to be said about this. You usually lose games, you don't open Medraut. You usually win games, you do open Medraut. I mean, I don't know. It's just the biggest playmaker of the deck. 3 Borz, because you have to get those searches off. You have to get those dumps to grave. Normally, I mean, for those of you who don't know what the combo is, you normal summon Medraut, equip them with the Noble Arms, special summon Borz, the Noble Arms pops itself, comes back on a Borz, you search, you choose 3, 2 go to your grave, 1 goes to your hand. The 2 that didn't go to the grave, so like the one in your hand you equip to Medraut, they're both level 5, you overlay for the big guy, and then you just re-equip the ones from the grave. The only one that doesn't work with is Excaliburn, because Excaliburn doesn't bring itself back, so you usually end up down. But you can still go into the rank 4. No, actually you can't, because Borz doesn't pop the Noble Arm. So you really need Medraut and anyone but Excaliburn to actually go into the play. Or Gwenny, yeah. Because Gwenny's an equip spell. She doesn't really count as a monster. So anyways, so 3 Borz, because you need them. Actually...
He's good to sit on, too.
He's good to sit on. I'll explain that in a sec. 2 Drystan. I know a lot of deck profiles I saw and a lot of people I talked to only run 1. I feel like 2's the magic number. I wouldn't run him at 3 because that just seems super cloggy. And sometimes you end up having to equip the Noble Arm to him, pop the Noble Arm, and just have it bring itself back just so you can like actually equip something to him. Because it is face-up card and is mandatory. You can't choose not to do it. I almost always sided one out. Like 9 times out of 10 I would side one out. I wouldn't side both of them out because he still is useful, but it's just not good against some things. Like hat tricks, it's awful against. 2 Gawayns. Occasionally I sided one out, but I think it was against Sylvans. I really normally wouldn't do that. If you have if you have a Borz or a Medraut on board or a Galahad, you can just special summon him, go into the 4 if you need to. You can go into Exiton if you need to. You can go into any rank 4 play you need, and you can just normal summon him and beat over things. A couple games I won by just normal summoning him, equipping him with Noble Arms, and just poking repeatedly. And he's also part of the OTK.
Also inherent.
Yeah, and he's an inherent special summon, so I mean they can Blackhorn him, but yeah. Galahad at 1, I wouldn't run him at 2. You don't really want to see him. His only real use is recycling if for some reason you just like super need him a Medraut to set up for next turn, or to the OTK, then which involves him and Gawayn, and you bring back Gawayn, you special summon. Well, basically what you do is you normal summon Borz, or Medraut, equipped him, special summon Galahad, it gets destroyed. It comes back to Galahad, you special summon Gawayn, you overlay for Blade Armor Ninja, you detach Gawayn to make Blade Armor Ninja attack twice, then you use Galahad's effect to bring this back to your hand, that destroys the Noble Arms that was on Galahad, then he's a normal monster again, so you special summon this, you go into Excalibur, and that's 8,400 damage, so that's the Noble Knights OTK. I didn't pull it off yesterday, I didn't really need to, so I kind of used half of it, because I just put Gallatin on a Blade Armor Ninja and just beat the shit out of somebody, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, so that's why Galahad's in there. It's just the OTK. It's not super consistent. You don't use it too much. 2 Gwenny, you need to. You don't really want her in your hand. You always search her with Borz, but you pray your opponent doesn't pick her, because then that just kind of screws with you a little bit. I mean, unless you already have one in grave. But with her, she counts as a Noble Arms equipped spell card, so she makes all their effects live, and she changes them from light to dark, the ones that do change. and her effect varies based on if they're light or dark. So if they're light, it's basically a destiny. You can destroy her instead of them if they would be destroyed by card effect. And if she's dark, it kind of turns them into a catastor. So a common thing was like, we call it battle Borz, where you just kind of equip it to Borz and just sit on it. And then even if that's the only thing equipped to Borz, he's a 2000 beater that your opponent really can't attack because you'll just kill their monster. And if they kill Borz and you lose her, that's not really a loss because you can just bring her back from the grave once per turn anyways.
Tell them the nasty thing that you had to teach D'Amato when you have two of them on one monster.
Oh, yes. If you put two of them on one monster, you can activate them both, and it just kind of... So, for example, you're playing against Boojins, and you attack into them, and they chain a hair. You're just like, alright, well, that's fine. Well, I'll detach one. I'll detach the other. Now, you can't drop that crane on me, because your monster's going to die before damage cow.
Start a damage step.
Yeah, start of the damage step. So, it's pretty good. Then, one Eachtar. This is I don't run brothers, and by I don't run brothers, I mean, one, I don't have brothers yet, but I probably won't run brothers, and if I will do, I'll try him as a one-of, because I don't feel he's that fantastic.
Nope.
Most games I didn't even go into the rank 4, so, and brothers, you can either set them and sit on a 2400 monster and hope your opponent attacks and needs a Gwenhwyfar or whatever, or you can basically go into a rank 4, the rank 4 with him, because he can't be used for anything else, really.
Eachtar's way better.
Yeah, so Eachtar, for those of you who don't know what he does, he's kind of like an E-Dragon. You can banish 2 Noble Knights from your graveyard to special summon them, and when you overlay with him, so when you go into Artorigus, it's like a super poly. You can't, your opponent, it's more like a starter, actually. Your opponent can't respond to it. Your opponent can't do shit. Like, they can't Black Hornet, they can't Solemn it, they can't do anything. Like, they just literally cannot respond to the summon, like the summon, like it always goes through. So that means that you'll get to equip, like you'll get their effect off every time. You'll get to equipped all the noble arms to him, and a lot of times, like, the problem is alright, your monster hits board, but before you can equip anything to it, he either gets like Veilered or he gets
You just get Blackhorn too.
Yeah, Blackhorn or Phoenix Chained or Trap Chase Trap Hold, but this stops that because they can't activate anything in response to like the successful summon either. So you'll always get the equips on them, and I don't know. I did that once or twice, and someone tried to.
Did they really?
Someone tried to Blackhorn it, and they didn't read, and I was just like, come on, man.
Lol.
Yeah.
He's a nice turn 2 move if
Yes.
you go second, because then if your opponent has like 3 back row set, if they don't stop Medraut, because they're like, sure, I'll just Blackhorn the monster.
Right.
It's like, oh, you're fucked now, because
You can Medraut into him, actually, which is something that people usually don't see coming, because, I mean, how many times do you see someone Medraut and go into something other than Borz? I mean, unless they just need a Drystan pop something, but still. Anyway, so I run 1 Eachtar. Honest, because it's honest. And 3 Veiler, because this deck needs Veiler. This deck loses really hard to things like Sylvans when they drop Bird Jesus. It loses really hard to Tiramisu. Just gets shit on by monster effects that don't target. So basically all the bullshit that Konami has decided to give us that doesn't target because they've twisted what the word target actually means, I guess. They rewrote the dictionary. So Effect Veiler is... I wouldn't run into less than 3. I'd never side it out. I mean, I guess against some matchups you could side it out, but I needed it in every single duel. And it put in work against Evil Swarms, actually. I did Artorigus with an Excaliburn, a Caliburn, a Gwenhwyfar, and a Destiny on it. And the MST'd the Excaliburn and went into Bahamut, and he was going to steal my castle, and I was going to cry, and I dropped Effect Veiler, so he was really sad. And then... So that's 3 monsters of his. Like, that's 3 monsters, because it takes 2 monsters you own him, then he has to discard 1 for cost. So he was really pissed. And then it comes back to my turn, I draw another Effect Veiler, I'm like, thank God. Goes back to attack, pop Bahamut, attack him. Sure enough, on his next turn, he goes into a second Bahamut. Who the fuck runs 2 Bahamuts? I don't know, but I thank God that I had that second Effect Veiler. I would have lost so hard. And when I dropped the second Effect Veiler, he just kind of picked up his cards. He's like, alright, well played. That's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. I run 1 Gallatin, 1 Caliburn, and 1 Arfeudutyr. I mean, I think this is the best one. If I have the 1 and the 3, so I also run 2 Destiny and 2 Excaliburn. If I have like Excaliburn, Destiny, or Gwenny in my hand, because those are the ones that you always typically search with Borz, then I will search Caliburn, and like in place of the other one because that 500 life points adds up. Granted, I forgot to use it a lot because, like I said, I've had this deck for like 48 hours, but yeah, the 500 life points really adds up. Like, there's this one duel where I was just Caliburning. I warninged, and then I soul charged for like 3, and then we looked down and realized that after warning and soul charging for 3 monsters, I was now back to 8,000 life points, and it just was like, wow, damn, Caliburn really adds up. But that's it for the Noble Arms. I feel like you definitely need these, so you have to run them at 2, but you don't really want to run any of them at 3. The only other one I would consider running at 2 is, like I said, Caliburn, because that really just adds up, and you can just put it on. If you start with it and you use it to equip to Medraut, you gain 1,500 life points that turn.
And an Exceed.
Like, it's gross.
Scoop.
I run 2 pots, not 3 because there really wasn't room, but you need to get, this is a big combo-based deck. You can usually afford to wait like a turn, so the pot will help you get into that Medraut, it'll help you get in the Noble Arms you need in order that effect failure. It's just really good in this deck. And 2's the magic number for this deck. 1 soul charge because, I mean, this deck isn't that derpy to where with it at 2, like, and the 1 soul charge did win me a couple games, but I don't know. I sided this out a lot, actually, to be completely honest.
Hell yeah, brother.
I don't feel that soul charge. I know everyone's like wetting their pants over this card, but I don't think it's a card that can just be splashed in. It's not a replacement for Monster Reborn, no matter how much people want it to be, for a ton of different reasons. But I get that's a discussion for another video.
Unless you got Wolf Bark in your deck at 1.
3 MST, Trap Tricks, Artifacts Hands is like a real threat. People always side pretty heavy against this deck with things that really just shit on this deck, like DNA Surgery and Zombie World. So on the off chance that I actually played Zombies, which was really funny, but it's just really good. And against artifacts, like being able, you have to pop cards on their turn. So blind MSTing on their turn is the only like real way to get up on them. And so 3 MSTs in the main is just too clutch for that. Also Miracle Fertilizer. God, that card fucking sucks. That really helps with that. 3 lands. You could get away with running 2 lands. I feel like Lance is really important in this deck, though, because I do not run Decree. Like, I don't run the Decree build, and you really want your first normal summon to get off. You usually just need to get through. You need to protect your monsters. A lot of times I actually used it to beat over shit, too, which was good. I mean, it's just a good card. It's just a really good card. And then I run 1 Rhoda, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Dark Hole. I actually sided out the Book of Moon in the Dark Hole a couple games, I think.
Out the Rhoda?
I do believe so. Not the Rhoda. No reason to side out the Rhoda. And then for traps, I run Solemn, Compulse, and Bottomless. The Compulse got sided out a lot. Solemn did not ever get sided out, and Bottomless got sided. There was one game where I sided out, I think, all of my traps except for Solemn, and I sided in 2 Black Horns because what was that? I don't remember what I was against Evil Storms, because I figured only counter traps would get through anyways. So yeah, that was that. Onto the extra deck. I ran two King Artorigus is the rank 4. Honestly, I don't actually feel after today that I need to run 2. Like I said, I barely ever went into him. It just, the opportunity, it was every time I went into him, it was just icing on the cake. Like, oh, I have a decent setup. You have a couple traps that you haven't used against me yet. Like, they've been sitting there, and I'm just gonna clear your back row. And it was usually bluffs, but a couple times I hit a Blackhorn with. I don't know why they just didn't use it on him, but I don't know. I ran 1 King Artorigus because
you didn't borrow mine.
Yeah, I didn't. I just didn't borrow one from my buddies. I think if I was to I'll probably end up only running 1 of him and 2 of them. Most people are on 2 and 2 of each, but like I said, maybe it's just because I haven't played this deck enough yet. But I've never needed another one and not been able to go into it. There's just always the one case when I kind of wanted to go back into another one of him, I just sat on my monsters and poked for game actually, so it worked out. The only other card that I need is like a Volcasaurus I don't have, which is a huge card. 1 High Laundsallyn. I don't run Lady of the Lake, but I run 3 Effect Failure, and there's plenty of times where I would open up with a kind of a bad hand, or like have a Medraut or a Drystan, or if I went first, I would have a Drystan. Like, you don't really want to make a Drystan play if you go first because there's nothing to pop. So I would set the effect Veiler, and then 9 times out of 10 they'll assume it's a Gwenny, because setting a Gwenny and passing isn't like the worst opening move ever. And so they wouldn't attack into it, and then I would just like normal summon, sync with Veiler, go into this, and then proceed to stomp them, because if they don't like have a response for it and they don't stop it, those searches add up real quick.
The fact that he becomes a Rhoda when it's when he kills a monster, right?
Yeah, he can search he can search the monsters or the noble arms. It's really strong.
It's nasty because he can search the monsters.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a Rhoda on steroids.
Right.
He's not a bad card. I don't know why people wouldn't run him at 1.
And then the 2 pieces of the OTK engine, Excalibur and Blade Armor. I never went into Excalibur, but I did go into Blade Armor. Like I said, I mean, they're both warriors. That's the other thing. A lot extra deck monsters that are warriors are really important because you can use your noble arms on them. Like, most of them, with the exception of Excaliburn and Gwenny, the other ones just say warrior. So if it's a double-edged sword, because if they drop a zombie road or DNA surgery, they all fall off. But like, I had a Gallatin and a Caliburn on Blade Armor Ninja, and he was at 37. So I mean, a 37 that can attack twice. It's kind of, I ended up winning. I just attacked and he had 2 monsters on board. I don't remember what they were. I think one might have actually been a Draco Sack against Sylvans. I just attacked into it, and then I attacked into whatever else. I don't know. I don't remember. It's a play. It's a play that I can make. Ragnazero, because this is really good against anything that runs Tenki.
Yeah.
It's also good against Madolches.
Anything that runs a field spell.
Anything that runs a field spell, really. As a Gravekeeper player, this card terrifies the hell out of me. It's just really fucking good. Like, I play against Bujins, I normal summoned. He ended with a Yamato and a Mikazuchi or whatever, but he didn't have. I ended up burning through his hairs and his turtles, and it was actually my buddy Dan. And so I normal summoned it, popped his Yamato, and instead of attacking over the Mikazuchi, I was like, fuck it, I want to draw again. So I just passed turn and then popped the Mikazuchi on his turn with because it is chainable, and that's absolutely disgusting. Next, Starleige Palydynamo. This card is arguably not really needed. I mean, its only real use, since 101 has entered the game, the only real use of Palydynamo is getting over extra deck monsters that people put in defense position. Like, some people have started summoning Draco Sack in defense position because of 101.
They always did that.
They haven't always done that. I mean, that's a 101 development. But I never went into him today. He is a warrior, so that's actually. I went into him at our first locals. I keep forgetting because we went to 2 locals, and they're pretty far apart. One was kind of small, the other one's pretty big. And the first, I made one of his monsters attack 0, and then I just equipped it with Gallatin and attacked for 3,000 per game. Next card, Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller there's never been a better format for Abyss Dweller with the hands, and even in the mirror match, it's kind of useful. I played against a hand spirit deck, and he kept just spamming Abyss Dwellers, and I don't know why, because he was never like the only thing it really stops is the noble arms coming back from him. So I don't think it's a good just drop it just to have it play, but I mean, I guess it stops them like the Medraut loops and stuff. But anyways, Abyss Dweller is a good card this format. Oh, and it shits on Sylvans. That's the other important thing. Heartland Draco. This card's pretty good. That 2,000 poke is no joke. It can't be targeted if I have things like
by battle.
Yeah, it can't be targeted by you. They can't attack it if I have another monster on board equipped with equip spells, because it's face of field spells. So sometimes I'll just put up a monster, I'll put him up. It's just extra damage.
If he can be targeted at all, I definitely would
if he can be targeted, again. Cowboy, obviously. Cowboy for game. Black Ship, it's good against the hands. It's good against the hands. And then Exiton and 101. Made it 101 a ton.
The delinquent duo.
101 a bunch of 101s. I had only made Exiton twice. Once it worked, once it didn't. Shit happens. And then the last card, this card. I don't know if you guys know what this card does, but it's literally just an out to hands. It's just an out to hands. But Evacuation Mergeist, it's 2 generic level 4s and 2100 attack. When you kill a monster by battle, you detach a material, and instead of going in the gray area, it gets shuffled into the deck. So like, it stops battle searchers, it stops the hands from going off. it's in there for the hands. Like it's not really in there for anything but the hands. It's a really good card. I would look into picking them up before they go up in price. And on to the side deck. I sided 3 Kaisers, because if you put Kaiser Coliseum on board and a King Artorigus with Excaliburn, Caliburn, Destiny, and Gwenhwyfar, I mean, you're almost always going to win that game. I say almost always because, like I said, there's glaring holes in the fundamental issue with Noble Knights, which is you're sitting on 1 monster and occupying several of your magic and trap zones at once. So let's say you have 2 Kaiser Coliseums, an Excaliburn, Destiny, and a Gwenhwyfar equipped to your Artorigus, and somebody creature swaps you, you instantly lose that game. Creature swap, memory of an adversary, things that just get rid of shit without targeting, absolutely destroy this deck. Like, unless creature swap gets banned, this deck I don't think will ever be a super competitive deck. Like, don't get me wrong, this deck can absolutely top a regional, but it won't be the meta unless stuff like that gets banned. But most people don't run that, so you can get away with running this deck like I did yesterday. So 3 Kaisers, 1 Twister. If I had to redo this, I'd probably put in 2 Twisters, because most of the things that people side against you are either Blackhorns or they are like DNA surgery and stuff. And plus, against the artifact matchup, but I guess it really doesn't help that much in the artifact matchup because it has to be face up. But it's just still really good. 3 Debunks, because those artifact hands are real. Bougians are a real thing. Sylvan monsters, when they get excavated, you can debunk it when their effects activate, and it stops a lot of their plays. 2 Blackhorns. Like I said, a lot of times I would side out my Compulsory and my Bottomless and put in Blackhorns. It's good against Gear Gate, it's good against Evil Swarms, it's good against the Mirror Match, it's good against Artifact Trap hands, it's good against everything. It's Blackhorn, it's just a good card. 2 Deck Devs, didn't side this in, almost did, but I felt bad for the kid. He was running wind-ups, and I just absolutely stomped him game 1, and then I was going to side these in, because a lot of your monsters, like, if I have Medraut and Borz with Gawayn both become targets for deck dev, so it's just gross. Like, just that, it's because I'm used to running Gravekeepers, and I just know that certain decks that you resolve deck dev against just instantly lose, so that's why I put them in here. 2 Emptiness, didn't use them all day, wanted to side them in, but just Blackhorn was always more relevant. I don't know. It's just in there to be in there. I guess against Madolches maybe it was good, but Rivalry would probably be a better side deck option for them. I just wanted the option if midway through the day. Like I said, I hadn't played with this deck a lot, so I was just putting in things that I knew were trying true in other decks. And then finally 3 Max C. A lot of times I would side out like all of my staples except for Warning. There's times where I would side out the 2 Pots, Soul Charge, and side in the 3 Max C. That was actually pretty common. I don't know why I always have a habit of siding out my Pot of Dualities. I think it's because I just feel that in the duel, if I would have drawn that Pot of Duality, like, oh, this could have been what I sided in against this fucker. So I obviously know the numbers don't work like that, but I just feel like siding out pots aren't the worst of ideas. So 3 Max C, and that just about sums up the deck.
There we go. Gravekeeper deck update in the future?
It's coming soon. It's coming real soon. I've been playing around with builds. Obviously, the meta's changed a lot. You guys have commented a lot on that video, and I've tried my best to get back to you. But yeah, update coming very soon. So, thanks.